Boneyard, where we're all about barkers, blood, books, boxes, and burps. Today I'm going to be reviewing the 2020 horror movie Come Play. I just recently saw it in theaters, so it's a brand new movie, hasn't been released on DVD or anything. It was directed by Jacob Chase, starring Aji Robertson and Gillian Jacobs. So the summary of this movie: the little boy, he has autism, and because of that he can't really speak. He makes noises and stuff, but he uses his iPad to speak to other people, which makes it hard for him to make friends. And that's where the monster of this movie comes into play, is that the monster pries on little kids that don't have friends and says, "I'll be your friend," to, capture them. The main horror elements in this movie are supernatural and monster. And on my blood scale, I give this 0 pints of blood. So if you want to have a horror movie that's just mostly about creepiness and jump scares but doesn't have any blood and guts and isn't gory at all, then this is the movie that you're looking for. There was literally no blood. So in the beginning, the kid is in his bedroom, and on his iPad or his iPhone, the thing that he uses to talk, it has Misunderstood Monsters pop up, which is like a children's book. And he starts reading it, and it says the misunderstood monster's name is Larry. And Larry says, "I'm different, and I'm lonely, and I want to be your friend." And the kid has autism, so he's also different and lonely, so that piques his interest in this scary monster, which starts to lure him in. As he's reading the book, the lights in the room start to flicker, and he gets scared, so he goes and he closes his door. He runs back in bed, and when he looks, the door is open again. And then he starts to hear like thumping, like as if someone's running at him, and he pulls the blanket over his head and starts screaming. And then his mom shows up and is like, "Why are you screaming?" A little later in the movie, something pretty cool effect-wise that happens. If you guys have Snapchat, when you hold up your phone and you have a face, it looks like you're wearing a mask, and you can also do it with a friend. So the kid has his phone and he's doing a little face app, like goofing around, laughing in his room. But then next to him in the background, the mask appears as well, as if there's somebody in the room with him. And it's implied that it's Larry, obviously. But so he turns and he looks at it, and the face is there, and it kind of disappears and comes back, disappears and come back. And then it's like super up close. So that's like where the jump scare is, because it goes "Bah!" with like the loud music, and he gets really scared. That was a cool one. And then a little bit later, 3 boys come over to have a sleepover with him, and one of the boys finds this iPad and starts reading the story. And Oliver, the main star, he's like, no, don't read it. But the kid is like, "Oh, it's just a story, I'm just gonna read it anyway." And as that happens, the lights start to flicker again, but this time the lights completely explode, and they look through the camera and they see Larry in the corner, all, gross and creepy. He's super, super tall and skinny, like as if he's a skeleton almost. And the friend is like, "Hey, it's just our imagination, it's okay." So he goes over to where Larry is, because they can't see him in real life, they can only see him through the screen. And then the table pushes up against the kid, and he starts screaming and freaking out. So this isn't really scary or relevant, but the kid watches SpongeBob throughout this, and I think that is so awesome, because I love SpongeBob, and this movie played like all the iconic SpongeBob clips, and I was like, yes, that's so funny. And then later, he's looking through his iPad to see Larry, and Larry lifts his hand up and puts a yellow sponge on the bed as a present for him, because he loves SpongeBob so much. I thought that was so cool. There's this device that the dad has. It's like a measurement gun. I don't know what it's called exactly, but it shines a red laser and it tells you how far away something is. He's measuring the outside, and it's, like 200, 300 feet away, and then out of nowhere it's 30 feet away. And he's like, what's so close to me? And it starts to get closer and closer and closer, as if somebody's walking towards him, and then it stops at 3 feet. And he's like, okay, but he can't see anything. So he grabs this sticky hand. When you were kids and you had that hand, it was sticky, and you'd like throw it on the wall and pull it back. He had one of those, So he starts throwing it, and then eventually it hits Larry, and it's like stuck 3 feet away from him, even though you can't see what it's on. And that's when he's like, and he runs away. Eventually the parents start to see Larry as well, and when the dad is at work, he experiences like creepy stuff, so he's like, I'm gonna head out. And he gets in the car and he drives away, and the street lights continually burn out following him as he's driving, until finally he grabs an iPad that he has and he looks through the camera and he sees Larry sitting in the passenger seat, and then Larry goes, and then it like blacks out, and we find out that the dad had a car accident right then and there and was really hurt. At the end of the movie, Larry starts to crawl through the screens so that they can see him in real life. And, you know, his goal is to get the child to be his friend and take him away forever. And eventually he gets the child alone without his mom, and he holds out his hand and is like, I'll be your friend. And Oliver almost takes it, almost falls for it and grabs his hand, but then the mom last minute comes in and grabs Larry's hand, and she's like, I'll be your friend, Larry. And then she looks at Oliver and her face starts to turn gray and sunken in and like creepy, like she's like, the oxygen is just being sucked out of her and she dies. So she saved her kid. That was really sweet. And then the very, very ending was also, a lot of times horror movies have that cheesy ending where it's like, oh, they didn't actually leave. But this ending was really, really sweet and cute. The dad comes downstairs. Okay, he's alive, he's fine. He survived the car accident. He comes downstairs. Oliver is like spinning in the air, like by himself. And the dad's like, oh no! And he takes out his phone and looks, and he sees that it's the girl, the mom, the dead mom. She's holding her son and she's playing with him, and he's like smiling at her, and it's like a cute little happy ending that she was able to, even though she's a ghost and she's dead, she was able to come back and see her son one last time. So in conclusion, this is a really tame horror movie. Like I said, no blood and guts. I would let a child watch this movie. It doesn't have any sex or nudity. It has minimal bad words. So this is the kind of scary movie that I would definitely bring a child to, because it's very introductory scary. If any of you have gone to the theaters and saw this movie, you can let me know what you think about it in the comments below. You can also give me a recommendation for another one that you want me to review. I am sorry that my dog is hacking in the background. I also want to thank NE Celtic Socks. I don't know if I'm saying that right, but thank you for the recommendation for me to go see Come Play to review it. As always, if you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe and share and tell all your friends about me. And I'll see you next time.